growing up, I could say that I didn't have a lot of friends. I definitely was one to kind of mind her business and not say too much. I was really just much of a popular learner. I grew up as an only child before my little brother was born, and I practically did a lot of things by myself. Besides me living beside my best friend for a long period of time, I was often on my own. Making this being like seeing that I was on my own and making me being the only child, it kind of felt like I was just by myself 24/7. I never felt like I had that crowd to connect or people to talk to because I constantly found myself just talking on myself or staying inside or just, being by myself. And after a while, you think you would get used to it and grow into it. As I've gotten older, it's something that I've definitely started to enjoy and just embrace being a popular loner. But there has been times where it definitely has changed, and that being such a small girl in such a big world has impacted me so much. Oh gee. Oh gosh, I like this lighting. I don't know. Does it sound different? Does it sound different? Like no, Eden. Here, come on, say hi to the vlog. Oh my gosh. Say hey.
Hey,
What's your name?
and then
Are you Demi's little brother?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. So basically, this is a quick little talking section of the vlog because really the vlog is just me. Um, I don't know. It's just hard being a sister. Like it's just hard doing that, being a sister and dealing with this, especially having a little brother that's 13 years younger than you. But basically, what I say, it's so cool. I can walk around now. Oh my gosh, I can walk around and talk. This is so cool. This is so clutch. So clutch. This is T. But basically, in this vlog, I will be what? Please. Basically, in this vlog, I would just basically be discussing some of the things that I went through as a teenager in the generation of the pandemic kids, and some of the no. So most of some of the topics that I had in mind were just talking about dealing with depression, going into high school, small girl, big world, things. Eden. Okay, I'm back. I was trying to record another intro, but it's like I already did an intro, so I'm like, what I'm gonna record another one for? But right now, after the last clip, y'all see me arguing with my little brother. I just got out the shower, so don't mind how I look.
Who the fuck did your hair?
I know. But today we're just gonna get back into the topics that I said I wanted to discuss. And I remember I briefly had said that I was going to talk about my life as being a kid who was basically a teenager in the pandemic. And the pandemic kind of shifted and created and molded my whole pretty much high school career. You mean, honestly, while I tell you guys that, I'm gonna move y'all. While I tell you guys that, I will also be doing my lash extensions, because I haven't did my lash extensions in a long time. So yeah, I need something to help me feel better with the economic
Oh my god, like can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now?
state of the world right now. I need something to help me feel better. And I wonder, it's like I should put y'all in my mirror. Woo! Oh my god, that's not that bad. That's not that bad for real. It's really not that bad. It's not that bad. But I just guess just to give y'all could tell y'all in the mirror though. But now that I got y'all situated, like I said, I will be doing my lashes because I just haven't done my lashes in a minute. And I just need something to help me feel better because I can't get a retwist right now because it's like, oh my gosh, what am I looking for? I'm looking for my tweezers. I promise y'all, every time I feel like my mic is like getting messed up. Hold on. Every time I do my lashes, I'm always looking for something. Like I lose my tweezers or something, and it just really just like, it really. But currently, it is 9 something in the morning. I'm not, babes. In the morning, we got to do better. We got to do better. It is currently like 11 o'clock at night, honestly. And I just decided to go ahead and finish this little vlog because honestly, when it comes to content creating, I am having a lot of fun. Like, I'm actually really having a lot of fun doing this and starting my little content creating journey. Like, it's actually been a blast, and I think that only reason that is because I've always dreamed of being like a content creator. Oh, y'all could see me. Oh, back to what I was saying. Yes, it's because I've always kind of wanted to do YouTube and just kind of being able to tap into my content creative and just stop being lazy overall has been a lot to be fun. Because honestly, everybody I've talked to, I've always told them my life is a movie. Like, I firmly believe my life is a movie. My life has always been a movie, and that's just that. Like, I'm the main star. My life is a movie. So basically, when the pandemic originally started, I was in middle school. I was in middle school when the pandemic started. I think I was about to finish 7th grade. Yes, I was about to finish 7th grade, and the way that it kind of all started just feels so like unreal. I ain't gonna lie, it definitely feels like a movie moment because the way of how everything just happened so quickly, and it was literally like I went home. I literally remember this so like day so like vaguely, but it's just like I remember it. I remember I went to school and I was dressed a certain way. I was dressed like a little boy because I didn't feel good. So I didn't feel good or whatever, and I was dressed like a little boy. And I remember I was telling myself, I was just like, um, it was a cool day at my school or whatever. And I remember was just like, I forgot what happened today. I just remember I went to school dressed like a little boy, and this is middle school. And I went to school dressed like a little boy or whatever. And it was funny because a lot of people had took pictures of me that day because they basically were saying that like I look like a boy, and if I was a boy, you know how people make jokes and stuff like that. So that's what was basically happening with me. So I had that day at school, and then oh god, yeah, I had that day at school, and then after that, it was like it kind of was just like your normal routine out of school. Like it was a normal middle school day. Because I remember waking up and it was like 9 o'clock already. And you know how you're supposed to be at school by a certain time? Yes, yes. So it was like 9 o'clock already, and I'm sitting here like, bro, why didn't nobody wake me up? So I immediately hopped out my bed and I'm like, I'm finna be late for school. I'm finna be late for school. I'm calling my friends. I'm like, why ain't nobody wake me up? Like, what's going on? What's going on? Next thing you know, they're like, oh, you don't know? And I'm like, no, what? And there was basically like a tornado here in Nashville. So that's where I'm from. I'm from Nashville. But there was like, oh, a tornado had happened, or like it was like a storm, a really bad storm or something that had happened. And basically it tore up our whole east side. Like it tore up our whole east side, and it was really sad for Nashville. Like that was a down day, right? And I was like, what? So because of the remember it had tore up a middle school. That's what really did it. It had messed up a middle school. And in the middle school they were like really upset about it too. Like it was just a lot. So I remember they had canceled schools, and it was a lot because we were like, oh, that's sad that it's middle school. Like these kids have nowhere to go and stuff like that, and they like in portable classrooms and things like that, right? So finally they we were out of school for that. And then after that happened, I think I vaguely remember after that, I remember we were end up out of school for something else. Like I don't remember for what it was exactly. I just remember that we didn't go back to school another day, and then something had happened where then it turned into like a week of us not going to school. Like I really don't remember that, and I promise you, it's like I left school and I never came back. Like literally, I left the day I left my middle school was the last day I was at my middle school for a long time, and it's really crazy to think life went like that. Because next thing you know, it's like the pandemic. I mean, before the pandemic was a pandemic, it was like it was on the rise. It was still a sickness. It was a lot, and it was just, I guess you could say, making its damage. It was making its daybreak. So after not being in school, like leaving school, and at that, all you hear is a pandemic, this pandemic, that. So at first, as a kid, not having to go to school, I ain't tripping about nothing. Like I'm chilling. I'm like, okay, whatever. I ain't gotta go to school. Like, I'm happy. I'm happy, 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 happy. I'm happy, happy, happy. And I was like that for a long time. And I promise you, a lot of people in Nashville, like a lot of kids, we all were like that. Like we were all like ecstatic. Like we were like, we don't gotta go to school. We just out chilling. Like it was virtual classes and things like that. So I wasn't tripping, right? Until a couple of weeks started to turn into months. Being out of school started to turn into like months out of school, like bad. And I think it was just getting bad. Like COVID was getting really, really bad. Like people were dying, and at this point, everybody like was taking this really seriously. And you would think we would be taking it seriously this whole entire time. No, I promise you. Kids, we were definitely playing. We definitely thought this was all a hoax, and then this was real. Definitely was the most realest thing. But yeah, so we're taking this as a joke, and months turned into like months and months. Like months turned into the point where I didn't go back to school for testing. Like even for my state exams, I didn't return back to school. And I remember having to go to school. Like we had to go test in like groups too. We had to like test in certain groups. Like certain groups would come in on AB, like day A, B, and C, and then another group coming on another day because of COVID. Like they cut it down, the visitation, everything. Like everything was just cut down, limited. So, seeing that happen, summertime hit, right? And at first, we're excited because it's summer break and we're not tripping. It's summer break. We already was technically on a summer break, kind of. It practically passed us all for that grade and stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. Right. So, like I said, we wasn't tripping until summer break was not summer break. It got really bad to the point where pretty much it was to the point I think like cities were having like shutdowns, like the mall closed, everything was closed, barely stores were open, like it was bad. It was really bad. And it was like, I remember seeing it and I remember like not thinking how serious it is until we went outside. Just because my family, we used to just go on drives just to get us out the house because honestly there was nothing for us to do. Like my mom was at home from work. My stepdad at the time, he was at home for work. Like it was a whole bunch of stuff that went into it. Bro. Oh my gosh, how did I do that? It's a lot that went into it at the time, right? So boom. And we have passed by the mall. If you're familiar with Nashville, then you know the Opry Mills Mall, which is basically Nashville's biggest tourist attraction. That's the reason people come and visit. Well, not really, but it's like one of the biggest things that if you come to Nashville, they're gonna tell you go to Opry Mills, right? So boom, we passed the mall and it was so sad. Like it was also like a dark and gloomy day too as well. And yeah, it was like a dark and gloomy day as well. So we passed the mall and the mall was just empty. Like empty. And and it was just like, I guess you could say the realization was seeing a place that was so full of kids and like the mall just basically like if you from Nashville, the mall was jumping. Like it was jumping. We had that mall turned, okay? And yeah, so seeing a place that was very popular look very like empty or abandoned, like it was kind of scary. And this is coming from somebody, I watched a lot of sci-fi movies, I ain't gonna lie. I grew up watching sci-fi movies and things like that, but it was very like scary to witness because I'm just like, this is serious. Like I guess you could say that realization really set in that we are really on a lockdown, like. And it was just so crazy to me because you would never think stuff like this would happen in real life. That's why I say my life is a movie. I originally did not come back to school for 2 years. I was homeschooled for half a school year, and then the next school year I was school like homeschooled all the way. But it made 2 years since I've been in like an actual school. So next thing you know, blah 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 blah, graduate from 8th grade by the grace of God. I was like, I don't know how I made it past 8th grade. I don't know how any of us made it past 8th grade. And I'm not saying that because I'm not stupid or nothing. It's just the circumstances we were forced to learn in, bro. Like, you will be like, no way. But surprisingly, I made it out of 8th grade, and my grades were like actually pretty like good. So yeah, so like good God, we made it out of 8th grade. And summertime, like I said, the summertime was alright. It wasn't really too, turned to summertime-ish. You feel me? Then this 2 years of living my life through a screen, and basically I lost a lot of friends. I didn't even have nobody for real. Like, it was just me. Like, I was there, but I wasn't there. I mean, like, that's how I felt. Like, it was like, if you weren't there, then you just probably, like, if you weren't there, then it was a piece of. Like, 99% of my life was probably a finish. Like, the critical parts of my life. Anyway, so I'm like nervous for my first day of high school, because this is my first time. This is my first time back in a school building for real, for 2 years. But of course, we had to go back with masks on, so it was nothing too different. We didn't know what nobody looked like for the longest. It was like, I didn't know what you looked like for the longest. A lot of people didn't know what I looked like for the longest. I think most of my freshman year I spent in a mask because of COVID. So, seeing that most of my freshman year I spent that in a mask, and I didn't know what a lot of my friends' faces were like. I remember one dude, like one of my homeboys, me and him are like so close. That's my brother. But I promise you, freshman year, we used to be like, what does he even look like? Nobody knew what this man looked like. And it was just sickening because, like, I feel like we should have to go to school and question what the people you go to school look like. So, one of my homeboys, yeah, so yeah, but like, it was just like, we really was just here to be here. I promise you. Like, if you just had to be there to see it. You just had to be there to witness it, like, honestly. And I spent most of my freshman year in a mess, like I said, and oh my gosh. I spent most of my freshman year in a mess and things like that. And I still was really shy. I didn't talk much. Um, and things like that. Because I honestly, and this is like the only reason I didn't talk is because I genuinely did not know how to socialize. It got to a point where I was questioning, like, if I was antisocial, right? Like, it got to a point where I was really questioning if I was a sociopath. Like, it was bad. Okay, it was bad. It was bad. And things like that will make you really start to rethink a lot of things. And I could say that during that time, I definitely did become more depressed, and I did like end up looking more into my mental health. And I just think it was also just because of me. I don't like sad movies. Like, I guess that makes me sad, like, ugh. But yes, a girl used to get bullied or whatever. Not too much though, but yeah, a girl used to get bullied or whatever. But yeah, like I was saying. What was I saying?
Oh, hi. Wait a minute. Who are you?
I had a lot going on in my life at that time, I think. And I think it was mostly because I was like, a lot of my high school career sucked because I was literally just going through it with this one person. Like, oh my. But I was getting bullied, and it caused me to go through a lot of mental issues. And I just had my own thing going on. I think it was also, I had like a really bad self-esteem thing. And like, I had really bad self-esteem, and it was just down and out. So after that, it became to the point where I finally went to go get checked out, blah blah blah. Came back, I was depressed. I wasn't too shocked. I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't shocked at all. Really wasn't shocked, not one bit, because I kind of knew I was depressed, But you know how you like you know something, but you're not gonna speak on it just yet. That's how I was. Like I was like, girl, this can't be real. Like you feel me? Like I was more of a, like a girl, this can't be real type of person. It's like, girl, you not another person. You so like I was gaslighting myself. Like girl, you ain't on the first. Like I'm thinking depressed, girl. So yeah, I'm just like talking to myself. I'm like, girl, you're not depressed. That's not what it is. And the whole time, and it indeed was that. So seeing that, it definitely made my high school career horrible. I would just say when it comes to depression, because I really don't have much to speak on about it because I don't know what to say in the instance because I'm a person. I don't be like, oh, it's gonna be okay. It gets better because honestly, I'm gonna be so real. It doesn't get better until it gets worse. Like I promise you, I definitely have hit rock bottom with my mental health, and I didn't. I probably would have never been here. This like been able to bounce back, and it's just luckily I was resilient enough and a fighter to come back from it. You feel me? And that's just all that it is when it comes to depression. You just have to, at the end of the day, it's an emotion and you have to show it that it's not bigger than you. It's something that's going to probably be around for a long time, and there's ways where you can tune it out and ignore it. But at the end of the day, you have a chemical imbalance in your brain, and that's what that is. But it's something that can be changed. It's something that can be fixed. It's something that can be tolerable. Like now, me, I have my moments, but you know, at the same time, I'm not letting depression beat me up like it really was. But anywho, so after that, high school was just hard. Being a popular learner in high school, and I think in this time and generation was hard just because we live in such a social media generation. Like honestly, we live in such a social media world, and it's always you gotta be the next Jay-Z and Beyonce, or you gotta be the next No Cap, the next Ralph 09, the next Boston Richie, the next Tatiana. Like it's everything, and you don't really get that chance to live your life. You always gotta have like it's like, oh, I gotta have 5K bands by the end of tomorrow. Baby, you're 15. Like literally. And it was just things like that that made me feel like I didn't fit in from the crowd around me. And honestly, that was just that. And for a long time it bothered me. But once you find people who wanna be around you, you really don't have to make yourself fit into your crowd. Like once you know that, once you find your crowd when you know you don't have to force yourself to fit in. Like, honestly. And that's when I found out being a popular owner is probably more my crowd, where I could be by myself and I do enjoy being by myself and I could walk the hallway. I don't want to, I don't have to have a big group of people with me all the time. But at the same time, I know everybody. I know people from freshmen all the way up to my class. So it's not technically when I'm walking everywhere, I'm not even by myself because people know who. And honestly, just to keep this short and sweet, being a popular loner is not that bad. Being antisocial is not bad. Being just alone is not something bad. I think it's not something that should be put in a box and make you feel some type of way. It is something you should definitely start to feel comfortable with because at the end of the day, you came to this world by yourself and you leave by yourself. Harsh reality, right? But I would just say, and thank you guys for coming and doing my lashes with me. I hope y'all enjoyed this little rant, and it's just like more of a vent session. This is going to take a minute to edit because this is almost 30 minutes long. This is probably one of the longest vids I've ever recorded, but hopefully I can cut it down. Hopefully I can cut it down. But I would like to thank you all for joining me and coming on this journey with my YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you don't want to do either, just share for the homegirl. Share for the homegirl. Alright guys, bye.